seen weddings that have 12, 16, 20 bridesmaids. Whenever I see it, I don't want to sound like negative Nancy, but I think it's usually the younger couples who have the bigger bridal parties. I just think, I'm like, you're not going to be talking to most of these people in 5 years. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, or share with your friends. Or you know what? Leave a comment. We love comments, whether they're good or bad. Haters,
Please. We love you.
help our algorithm. Welcome to the Not Your Asian Women podcast. I'm Christine Chang.
I'm Shiny.
Today, we're going to talk about
Bitches.
friendship.
Yes.
There's so much here. We've done several episodes on this, and I think it's just so relatable. People want more.
Yeah.
I mean, I can always talk about friendships.
Yeah, I get a lot of feedbacks on that from my female friends that not a lot of podcasters talk about friendships, the dynamic of friendships and the breakup of friendship. And it's to women sometimes are just as important as men in your life. It can hurt as much or even more. Yeah.
1000%. So at the age that I'm in my 40s now. I have gone through several phases in my life where I feel like I've grown apart from friends. I don't like the word outgrow. It's just we're growing in different directions. And I'm a person who values truth. So if something's not in alignment, and I have felt bad before because sometimes it's not necessarily something bad happened. I think it's actually easier to move on from a relationship or a friendship when something clearly bad has happened. But sometimes it's like they're nice people, they're kind, but there's something about it. Either I don't want to be like you. Because, the people that you spend the most time with, you tend to kind of become the average of that. I'm sure you've heard that. And, some of them just don't have a life that I would want to emulate. And for me, I'm not a person that values history. I asked someone about it who came on my podcast who's really good at friendships. She's had friends since she was, really, really young. And she said, you know what? I deeply value history. And when she said that, I realized, I'm like, I don't. My energy sits in the present and the future. I think about where I am today and where I want to go. And it doesn't matter what history we've had because I'm moving forward. Is there sadness that goes along with those moments when you grow? Of course. But that's been my feeling. And I've been kind of going through a transition recently after getting married. As soon as priorities change, I think that's when friendship dynamics change as well, is when priorities shift. So through marriage, through friends having kids, maybe a career shift, that can do it too.
For me, I value both. History is a big part of it. I have friends that I had known since I was in kindergarten. And to me, it's like giving up on that, even if it's difficult and we've chosen separate path, is like leaving piece of me behind. It's so sad. I value, in my early 20s, I valued friendship more than family, more than men.
Yeah. Well, that actually is common. What you said in 20s?
In my 20s, yeah.
Yeah. They say, the show Friends? Have you watched it?
Yeah.
The writers or the creators said that they created it. They wanted to write a show about the time in your life when your friends are like your family. It's before you have your own families. And it's true, right? It's usually around in your 20s.
Exactly. And then also like, nobody in their 20s know the fuck they're doing. And a lot of us were trauma bonding. And you know how girls are, we bond over talking shit behind women's back. Like we bond over like who we hate the most. We just hella talking shit. Like if a group of girls, we all hang out, we all talk shit. We'll talk shit about our man, talk shit about everything. And if a girl is not there, yeah, we talk shit about her.
Well, do you still do that? Just say it's like your good friends. Because for me, if it's like my good friend, if I say something to you and it's like a big thing that's actually like bothering me, she's gonna hear it too.
Yeah. And and then so I no, I don't do that. And because when I was in my 20s, if the friendship purely based on drama, stirring shit up, then I learned if a bitch talks shit in front of you about another person, obviously she's going to talk shit about you in front of other people. So that I learned. And with my, now I'm in my like late 30s. I don't have energy. I don't have energy to entertain drama or nothing like that. That doesn't give me dopamine anymore. And just to like open my mouth and talk, like this podcast drains us. I need like quiet time.
Peace.
Peace. I have very few closest inner circle friends, and those people I know, no matter what I say, it doesn't matter. Like my closest friends, that's how we talk. We pick up a phone, we go, "What's up, cunt? What you doing?" And we just talk mad shit in front of each other. If we see something we don't like, if she gained some weight or something like that, we like say it. So those are the relationships that lasted over time. That because me personally, I can't be with people who are too sensitive.
Yeah. But then you feel like you can't be yourself because you do like being crass and direct and talking shit. That's you. And you want the freedom to be you.
Yeah. And like I said before, I grew up with boys. And that's just how boys communicate. They insult each other and just talking shit. But with like girlfriends, even with my closest girlfriends, I still had to watch what I say. Mm-hmm. And they are moments. And then, you know how, like, I'm the same way too. There are moments, a certain time of the month, just extra sensitive, extra moody. It don't matter what other people say. Just by you existing, I want to smack you. So it doesn't really matter. So I have, like, with female friendship, I do have to watch out for that. And then now, we're females. We know there's certain things we're rigid about, and then like a certain and then certain things we can't compromise. And even with like traveling together, and there are just certain small things you'd have to compromise. And that takes some energy. Mm-hmm. And if I like you, I'm willing to compromise. And I respect you.
Respect.
Yes.
Is a huge one.
And someone who, what I don't like is, there's some like bitches out there, like they are okay with talking shit behind other people's back, but they can't take that. They'll criticize, judge other people, but when that shit returns, they can't take it, and that's too hypocritical for me. Mm-hmm. So what I personally, because I'm a comedian and I enjoy roast battles, I love it when I'm being put in my place, when somebody calls out my bullshit. Mm-hmm. And I like it, a humbling life moments where while I'm talking shit, that's why like me and my best friend, we vibe, because she's got like a cunt mouth. Mm-hmm. She will tell you what it is. And it for like the both of us, like when we like step each other's boundary a little too much, we can say that, hey, this is too much. And that we're in a place where we can say that without hurting each other's feelings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing about like female friendship, because we need female friendship and then also opposite sex. Like friendship dynamic shouldn't be just like one. I do feel like it's a kind of a red flag if a girl like only has guy friends.
I think it's a red flag too.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I'm not like, I have homies too that I grew up with. We travel together.
You can gravitate towards one more than the other, but if you're a female and have no female friends, I would want to know more. Like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. That's, to me, is, I don't know. It's, I need to know. It sounds a little phony to me because we need, as much as guy friends are there to have fun and then offer us different emotional value support, female friendships are different.
No one's going to understand you. Like, men can't understand you in a way that female friends can.
Exactly.
And I have to remind myself that with my husband, because sometimes I just want him to understand something. And there's certain things he'll never get from my perspective. Of course he won't. And so it was really important to me before we got married and me going into any relationship that I kept my friends and made an effort with the people that I wanted to keep in my life. I hate it when people ditch their friends for a romantic partner. When I was younger, I did that and I learned like, oh, no, like I want to keep my own life and pieces of me and not give everything up for this relationship. It's just not a smart thing to do. It's not healthy. I don't think it's healthy. It wasn't for me. And so I was very clear before I met Pete that, yeah, like my best friend from college, I value her just as much as I do my husband. I'm like, do I pick one over the other?
Yeah, it's not.
That's a tough one. I was,
like that, yeah.
I was like in a scenario if like one of them had to die, which one would I pick? But I value her friendship. Like we're so close, and it's different. It's just a different dynamic. But my friendships are very important to me, as well. And I'm just thinking like how we change through life as well, and how values change, and how you were talking about what you value and the traits that your closest friends have. Mine have changed throughout the years.
Sure.
Have yours?
Yeah. Like I said, like in my 20s, all about talking shit. Like, oh, bitches get together. We just talk about, oh, did you see what she did? And like read her text message, like the tone or something. Like, what does that mean? Because it was all like anxiety driven. And like when I was younger, I definitely was more like a little drama queen. Okay. Like I need to know. I need to snoop. I need to know like who she's seeing. Okay.
I had a little bit of that, but I think I feel like I didn't have too much of that actually. I don't like drama. I don't think I've ever liked it, even growing up, because my sister was more dramatic growing up. I was always the one was just like, can you just like leave me alone? Like I want to be alone and in peace. My mother also very like dramatic, and I just like did not gravitate towards that. So I think after when my parents divorced, I chose to live with my dad because he was super chill and peaceful. That was his personality and freedom. He gave me freedom. And I'm not going to say I never talk shit and never do that thing, but I think I never really gravitated towards that kind of chaos. Because some people, they get energized off of it. And I think I never, I don't think I ever liked that. But it is common. It is common. You're right.
It's not like dramatic in the sense of like emotional roller coaster. More of, oh, I need to know her drama. Oh, like spill the tea.
Well, what happened? No. Okay, yes. That there was something about being a female. That's why those gossip magazines,
yes,
right?
Gossip.
And men, they'll be like, I'll never understand why you like that, even though like we know it's fake or whatever. But men have their own version of that. They say that, and even if you go to sporting events, I overhear Pete and his friend, what if his friends talking about like, did you know that this player da 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 and his wife da da da? You do the same fucking shit. You know, there's something in us that wants to know something.
Yeah, it's like information.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's more like gossiping. So it's always like harmless, but that shit does come back to bite you. Because when like it's all fun.
It's very low vibration.
Yeah, it's all fun when, you know, somebody else's drama and you gossip about it. And when it's your shit and now all of a sudden the whole fucking school knows and you're like, uh-oh, now you don't like it. You're in the center of a gossip. So that I learned is like whatever like you put out, you get back. And if you bond over just gossip girlfriends, then they're gonna gossip about you. Is that something
you want?
I want? Yeah, that's not something I want. So might as well just like cut that. I don't think any of that is vicious, but it's just that you know, like I'm all about like Eastern philosophy. I feel like whatever you put out, even if it's something that you talk shit about, and if you now that I do talk shit. I do talk shit in front of you, and it's sort of like that's why I love roast battle.
I like that because it makes me trust someone more, even if it's not something I always want to hear. I prefer someone who's transparent and says what's on their mind.
Yeah, and then also like these days, when I go out doing comedy and if I hear people gossip over some shit, I stand up and go away because I can't keep my mouth shut. I can't know secrets. I don't believe in secrets.
I actually don't believe in secrets. If you tell someone a secret and they're married, their spouse knows. Okay. I just go in with that assumption. If I'm going to tell someone, it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah, I don't believe it. You especially with us girls. I need to tell. So yeah, so and now if it's something I truly don't want anyone to know, I'm not telling anybody. Yeah. And then because just know if you say something, it will go out. That is in like Chinese saying 纸包不住火 is like paper can't wrap fire. So that's how like we think about secrets. If you really don't want nobody to know, don't tell a soul.
Yeah. Yeah, with the gossiping and stuff, I remember a friend group. I would say it was my last like cohesive friend group. And we could talk about this as well because I think there's a difference between having a community where it's one group versus having a lot of friends, but it's fragmented. They're not really close with each other. It's a different dynamic. But this is my last like cohesive female group, which I still talk to some of them, but not all of them anymore. We've grown apart. Some of them I got married and different things. But I remember the text thread becoming gossipy. Like I remember thinking, why are we talking about this? Why? Like, I don't want to spend my time talking about things like this. It does not energize me. And then so that was the first sign I'm like, I think I'm growing apart from these friends. And I believe in freedom. So I'm like, do what you want to do. Like, I believe in letting people do what they want to do so you can see what they actually want to do. And they like talking about these things, so I don't want to make them wrong for it. But I started getting quiet on the chat and then started, doing my own thing more.
And then got removed from the chat.
And then eventually, not in the chat. I mean, that whole group kind of fragmented that. Some of us just talk to each other. There's like cross friendship still, but it's not there anymore. So most of my friendships now, I have good friends, but it's in different circles that they're not connected. Like you might have met some of them, but it's not we're chummy in a group chat and this is like your go-to group. And that I think sometimes is hard I'm grateful I do have friends, but it's not the same as what it used to be. And my mom did tell me growing up, she said, when people start to get married and things like that, it changes. And when I was younger, I'm like, what are you talking about? We're going to be, I'm not going to let that happen. We're not like that. But when priorities change, the amount of time that someone has to put towards the dynamic you used to have, it's going to change. And that's what I've learned as I've matured and accepted. And there is a 1000% a sadness that comes with it. But it's just also honoring the truth too. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk about this. Or, you have kids and I genuinely don't have an interest in being here. Sometimes I think, should I be a better friend or whatever? But it's truth, right? I'm like, I'm not dragging you to my fucking business conferences and stuff. It's a different priority. So I think I'm good at being accepting. Like, this is what it is. And then what do we want to do about it? Did you have bridesmaids for your wedding?
No.
Okay. No. I didn't either because
No.
I worked in the wedding industry for 15 years. I've seen all the things. Seen weddings that have 12, 16, 20 bridesmaids. I just had my sister up there and Pete had his brother up there. Simple. And whenever I see it, I don't want to sound like negative Nancy, but I think it's usually the younger couples who have the bigger bridal parties. I just think, I'm like, you're not going to be talking to most of these people in 5 years.
True.
Right? I mean, to have that many friends, like some people do keep in touch, but just the dynamic's not going to be the same in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When I was younger, me and girlfriends at the time, we talked about, yeah, fuck man, we're gonna stay friends forever. We're going to buy big old house and we all live together and retire together. I won't talk no words anymore. It just priority change, and people do grow apart. The thing is, there's no now we're older, it's not like right or wrong. It just like the analogy I said, we come to this world alone, we're going to leave alone, and we're driving on this long road trip alone, and we pick up passengers along the way. Some people will stay longer, some people will just one stop and that's it. And now I'm more accepting. It does make me appreciate the now. And who knows how long we're going to be friends. And if we're true friends, you know how you have those friends that you hadn't talked to for years. Mm-hmm. And once you do reconnect, it's like no time has ever passed.
Yeah.
It's like that. I'm very fortunate. I have few childhood friends are like that.
Yeah. Same. I don't talk to them often anymore, but whenever we do, I had a recently a friend, she had called, her dad had died. And we used to hang out all the time. So we knew each other since high school. And she's like, I knew you were one of the first people I wanted to call. Mm-hmm. Like, that's still there, even though we're doing different things now. And I have another friend visiting on Thursday. I'm really excited. He's married now with a kid. And just, it was sad at first when we got into relationships, just because we used to spend so much time together and less responsibilities too when you're young. And now it's different. But I think I've come through the acceptance, and it's been really beautiful watching him attune to his partner and become a dad and catch up. We don't agree on everything with the recent political stuff that comes up and stuff. He's very outspoken, and it's so funny because we do not agree on it.
That's dumb.
But the friendship is still there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that to me is true friendship.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I do have friends that we don't see eye to eye at all, but still talk shit, and we're able to find, because you can't find a person that agrees with you on everything. It just does not exist. And to be able to find commonality together, that's the more important, and not try to correct or convince the other person. about your differences.
Strong coffee company. What do you think?
This is perfect for lazy bitches like me. You can just pour the powders in and put hot water. You wouldn't believe it. My eyes was smaller than this. But after that, I'm awake.
Use code.
Oh, yeah.
What's our code? Not your Asian women at checkout for a nice little discount.
Enjoy your new crack.
What do you think about female friendships versus like your guy friends?
I think guy friends, they tend to be more simple, more loyal, more forgiving. I think they're equally as sensitive. They are, but yeah, with female friendships, I think in general less loyalty. That's been my experience, and I admit it for myself as well. If I've talked to someone about something, a good friend, something that's like not working well for me and she keeps doing it, eventually I'll draw a line and either not be as close or maybe not be friends anymore. Where I think a lot of men would have the loyalty even if he gets annoyed, like, why the fuck do you keep doing that? But that guy's still in his life, you know, it's his homie, that's his buddy. Yeah, I'm not like that.
Yeah, that's why like some people like the Bro podcast would say, oh, there are no friendship in females, y'all all talk shit about each other. I mean, it's not entirely wrong. Female friendships can be as fragile as a unphotoshopped picture. It's like, if you know, like I've known friends that broken up because they posted a picture without their consent.
Oh my God, I cannot.
And yeah, and that happens a lot. And also like just not, or like as fragile as getting together and saying something out to other people without like consenting, because I've had those incidents where like I was watching and it's kind of fucking awkward. It's like, oh, those two are friends, and then somebody just said something out loud about their private story.
Yeah.
But to us, it's not that. Okay, so I'll just say it. So with, you know, like girls, most of us experience eating disorder, especially when we were in junior high, teenagers. And a lot of girls would like throw the fuck up, you know, after eating. And that just
that's your experience.
Yeah,
I didn't have friends who did that. But we do care about our weight. But that's I've heard in China that literally throwing up.
No, both.
Okay.
Just girls. It's as common as SA amongst my girlfriends. We've all experienced that type of thing, and then so it and one girl brought it up of the other girl's eating disorder history, and they got upset, and then we were just not talking anymore. Okay. And to us, it was like, oh, I mean, it's
common. I get in trouble doing that too.
I feel like it's common, and then also like I don't think they did it out of viciousness. It's just
right.
Sometimes, you know, people get tissed out and they say shit about you.
Well, I think for people who don't care and are transparent, we can forget that not everyone's like that. I got in trouble recently. My sister said something. She's like, remember when you like shared this on your Instagram? I was like, did I? When? And I didn't know. She's like, when I did this. And I'm like, that's so normal. I know so many people. She's like, well, it's something I'm ashamed of and I don't shout out to the world. She's not really even on social media. So I was like, oh, sorry. It didn't occur to me, because to me, it's like a very normal thing. And I would share that. It's kind of like when you do like some plastic surgery or things like that. For me, I view it the same as like someone dyeing their hair. Like, it's just something to talk about. And I forget some people, they're insecure about it. And sometimes I'm like logical. Like if you go from a double A cup to a D and then you're like, I didn't get a boob job. I'm like, everyone knows you got a boob job. It sounds sillier if you deny it, but they do it out of insecurity or for whatever reason. And it's not my place to speak the truth on that, right? But I forget. And I want to be considerate, even if I don't agree or if I think it's stupid. I'm like, oh, that's her life, and it's really not my
that's
place to
the
do.
fragileness about female friendships.
Yeah.
As small as innocent comments about something you didn't want other people to know, but your girlfriend didn't think twice about it. And that can break up years of relationships. To me, definitely there's difference between female friendships versus my homeboys. And I do need to turn up a little bit for girlfriends and pay attention. And because there's subtlety in female body language, and there are a lot more stuff we don't say. And if you're pay attention as good friends, you'd understand what's more important, and that takes time. We're like a fucking cats, Like sometimes we like belly rub, sometimes we don't. And men are just, like dogs.
Simple.
You call their names, they run towards you happy. So it's just like that. So that's something. But also like they give different values in your life. There's nothing good or bad. It just with different personality. Even with like people are all different. You need to pay attention on what's important to them, what they don't want to share, and be respectful.
Yeah,
and that's just. And then how you choose to be friends with when you're getting into adulthood, it is very tricky. With we don't have kids. When now in our age, if other girlfriends who have kids, that friendship is very difficult to maintain.
Yeah,
their priorities shift. And you just have to kind of respect that.
Yes. Unless you really love kids or you love the kid, I've seen that before, and I was like, oh, that's really nice. And
okay, that's
the guy becomes like the godparent and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not me. He'll like drive 2 hours out to see the kids. I'm like, oh yeah, it's not
Oh
me.
no, that's not me either.
Yeah. Different priorities, different interests.
Independence is what we value.
Yes.
Kids can't be independent. That's the thing. If they're old enough to have a basic logic, communication.
Yeah, that's when I start really like being around them. Yeah. But yeah, I've noticed it's not so much the kids, it's the parenting style. Because I have some friends, and I continue to see them. They have kids, but it's the parenting style. Of course, they have responsibilities with kids, but their world doesn't revolve around the kid. When they're with their friends, and their kid kind of just like blends into the group. I think kind of more how we grew up, less catered towards a kid. You're just part of the group. And that for me works, because if I want to hang out with someone, it's about quality time together. That's my love language. So if your time is more about the kid, oh, like, look at what little Johnny's doing. Let's do this. Let's read to him. And I'm like, your world revolves around Johnny. Mine doesn't. We're here with the group. And I found that the parents who parent like that, sometimes they have an expectation that they want the entire group to cater to the kid. Like, oh, if we're traveling, let's wait. And it's like, no, like you meet up with the group. You want 8 people to stay back to wait for like your kid. Like you take care of your kid, you're the parent, and then meet up with us when you guys are done doing the thing. That's how I operate. There's no right or wrong. So
it's the mom, huh? It's the mom. Yeah.
And yeah.
That's why like you were saying, men are more independent that way. It's like, okay, I'll meet you there.
It's no, but I was listening to a podcast, David So. Do you listen to it?
Yeah.
Genius Brain podcast. I love his podcast, but I love this episode because he was talking about guy friendships. It was the same thing. He told stories about that, how some friends had kids and had, even the guy friends, like had the expectation, you know, like obviously the ones that don't have kids are like, okay, we're going to go out like to the bar. And then the guy who has the kids like, oh man, kind of wanting everyone to kind of cater to him. He's like, are you serious? You want all of us to wait, or you know? And I was like, oh, it's not just females. Okay, this
Is
happens.
he gay?
This happens in male friendships as well. I think it's just learning the new rhythm, but also I think self-awareness is huge too. I would never make an entire group wait for me for something like that.
That's crazy.
People don't see your kid the way that you do. They don't prioritize your kid the way that you do.
Yeah, the entitlement.
Unless you're paying them.
Oh,
unless you are paying them, they're gonna pretend to care about your kid the way you do. But if you're not, it's not the way it is.
Yeah, it is true. Like the sensitivities is all the same. You want to be included. And there's another thing about like I wonder if guys do that too. Like, you know how like say certain group of females friends, we all hang out, and all of a sudden in the middle of the day you scroll up and then you see they all got together, went out without inviting you. You're gonna feel some type of way.
Oh yeah,
I think that crosses all genders.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not just,
100%. I know intellectually to not take it personal, but the feelings there, like, oh, I wasn't invited. I used to have like
FOMO.
I used to have a deep pain point with that before I did my personal growth. I would get mad and like super hurt. And after I did my healing work and stuff, I'm like, oh, it's not personal, even though it might kick up the thing, but I won't get mad at the person anymore. And sometimes I have brought it up before, and she's like, I literally forgot to call you, you know, and I'm just like, oh my God, you stupid bitch. But
yeah, we've all been there for sure. Like, okay, you see, I'm gonna call her new friends and post all kinds of pictures without you. See how you feel. Yeah, we've all been there. Now we're getting into that age, like, oh, none of this will, because we're pretty regulated in.
You and I,
yeah,
we value that. I've had some recent friendships because it's like dating, right? You know, and it's friends or friends of friends. And sometimes I can have an intensity with me where if I click with someone or I'm enjoying something, I'll kind of go full in, and I'll learn like 3 months later. What I've learned recently was I don't have a capacity for a baseline anxious personality. That doesn't work for me for someone in my inner circle or one-on-one in my house. That does not work for me. If we're in a party setting and it's groups and their energy is more diffused, I can do it. This goes also for extroverted people. But for one-on-ones, I'm very particular about who I'm hanging out with.
I'm pretty introverted. I can't do more than 5 people as a group. I need to have one-on-one. I need to get to know you a little bit. I know everybody's a little neurotic in their own ways.
Yes.
I tend to be very open-minded, but one thing is the same. If you are too intense and cannot read any social cues that, hey, you're making other people uncomfortable with this subject and your intensity, then I can't hang out with you like that anymore. Yeah. But I'll be like cordial.
I'm always about like be kind and respect, but I've noticed that recently that I'm like, oh yes, I don't have a capacity for that. I want to ask you, because how long have I known you? A couple years?
Yeah. 2-3 years now.
Damn, time flies.
Yeah.
What have you noticed about me that I have a sensitivity to that you can't say to me?
We're going there. Okay, where do I start?
You got a list.
I can't.
You haven't pushed it with me though. But I think I think you can feel what you like. You're pretty intuitive and you're smart with people. You've never pushed
because I know your heart. You're not a vicious person. So one thing I do notice is like you cannot hide your face when you're disgusted. When you try to like the judgment face.
disgust level is high.
Yeah.
I feel it very often.
But that's because you have very solid principle.
I can't be fake.
Yeah, so that I appreciate. I like that more than somebody who's poker face, because I can't read you. I'm more like people who, that's my understanding, people who appear nice and friendly with everyone.
Yeah.
I look out for people like that. I don't trust you. I need to know what tips you off, what you're disgusted of. Like, I need to know you're a real person. It doesn't matter if I agree with you or not, because everybody talks shit and everybody has their little weird side or judgmental little bit. And if you come off like you're nice with everyone, I don't trust you. So yeah. So I guess that, but I don't take it personally. If we had met like maybe younger, I don't think we would match well.
Wait, give me an example of something where I've given you like a disgusted face or something with that was like disapproval. We traveled together last year to France, to Cannes.
Yeah.
So something must have happened.
Oh no, it wasn't. The travel to me it was good. I think it was more of you like with the taking pictures that kind of pushed your boundary.
When I don't want to do something. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't during travel. I think it was something like I talked about, because I have weird taste. Like I talked about when I was younger, when the internet was the wild west, you could see decapitation, you could see like dead bodies and all that, and I was very into the dark web shit. And then you looked at me like, what? Necrophilia?
I was like, you watch that stuff? I wonder what it is with the disgust, because that's a feeling, but more recently, I've been feeling it more. A very strong, with certain things. When something repels me, it repels me, and I can't help it.
I mean, go with your like gut feelings. If something like disgusts you, don't. If you pretend that it's not disgusting, then I mean, you do you. It just I get it. It's not for everybody, of course. It's like it's just like how some people would say people would say, when white people hear Asians eat chicken feet, they are so disgusted because they're racist. I mean, come on. I do eat chicken feet, but I also understand why people are disgusted by it. If it's not in your culture and you don't eat shit that touched the floor, I get it. It's like I don't eat bugs, right? I know there are cultures that eat fried cockroach, fried like earthworms. I look at it and I go, ew. It's not because I'm fucking racist. I mean, I'm a little bit. It's just that it's human nature. Like we're not comfortable with something we're not familiar with, and it's just everybody's got their own disgust point and ick. So I don't that way. I don't really judge. So like you be disgusted. What will you be disgusted about? So now your turn. What about me that you hadn't said?
That I don't think I've said it to your face, but I think you know based on my reaction. And I think it's a cultural thing too, because my other best friend does it too, and she's not born here and she's Asian, is giving unsolicited opinions and advice if I don't ask for it. It's a very Chinese thing. And maybe it's my trauma from growing up, but I'm like, I didn't ask you about my outfit. You know, and I understand the intention is wanting to help or something, but I'm like, I don't care. That's the thing. And it's not enough for me. Clearly, we're here. We're still friends, okay? It's such a little thing, but I also understand it's cultural. But I think I'm better at, if it became a real problem, I would eventually say like, hey, unless I ask you about this, can you like keep your thoughts to yourself? But that's the only thing. That's the only thing
that's true. I'm working on that. Working on that. I do. Yeah.
My other friend said it. She's like, I'm working on it because my other friends. I'm like, people don't like that all the time.
It is very culture.
It's 1000% culture.
Yeah, because I'm an immigrant. I was born and raised in China. She's born and raised in the Bay Area. So for even if we're same race, it's still different. Like environment shapes you.
1000%.
In China, it's like, oh, dang, I feel like everybody in China is on the spectrum. Because we be like, just if we don't even know you, we come up to you and say, oh, why are you fat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're fat, you're ugly, you're poor, you got to work on it.
It gives very little room. It almost collapses. Like you feel like there's no room for you to be creative or anything like that. It's almost like you're just being like talked at instead of a curious point of view. Like they don't ask you questions and then what do you think? That doesn't exist, right? Growing up.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? No, it's just they talk at you.
Yeah.
Whatever they think.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not very open-minded. We're hella judgmental. Chinese people are hella
Well, I'm judgmental too. I am very judgmental.
Yeah. And also like growing up is very common to be in a household where all the aunties will tell you how to live your life.
Oh my God. I cannot.
Yeah,
and they're super gossipy too. I mean, to another level where I'm like, oh my God. And then we'll say things about you that just aren't even true. That's what drives me nuts. I'm like, that's not even true. But they say it like it is, like they know.
Yeah. And then, for sure, like I try to work on it. Because with my husband, sometimes like, because to me, my point of view is I see what you're saying is a problem. And because I'm like solution oriented, I want to give you different solutions and options.
Yeah.
And because my husband would like come home and vent to me about some team problem or work issues with his boss. And I would be on the perspective of other people and then just kind of playing devil's advocate. It's like, oh, maybe they did that because of this.
Does he get pissed?
Oh, he's like, yeah, I get pissed. And I'm like, see, that's how I feel sometimes when I vent about issues. I just need you to listen. I don't need you to give me solutions or opinions. And now since we've been together for so long, we ask each other ahead of time.
What do you want?
Do you want to vent? Mm-hmm. Or do you want me to give you solutions?
Yes. Pete and I have learned that too. It's very helpful. Yeah. It's very helpful.
Yeah. So, good feedback. Yeah. What else?
No, that's
nothing.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, obviously with any relationship, you're going to have like a minor stuff.
There's things.
Like,
Have you heard of the fatal flaw theory. It's like the friendship fatal flaw theory that everyone, I think that's what it's called. Every person has a fatal flaw, whether it's they talk too much or they need too much attention. There's something. If you don't accept this about that person, they get moved to like periphery friends or maybe no friendship. But your closest circle, you accept that flaw about them. And I'm like, that's so true, because all my best friends, there's something that fucking drives me nuts about them. But I have accepted it. I think mostly because we went when we were younger, and I've known them for a decade or decades, right? So we've just come to this point where we've been through so much, and there's the loyalty, and we still value growth, and I'm willing to live with that fatal flaw.
Yeah, and also everybody's got flaw.
Exactly.
And
so like,
if
what
you-
is that thing? What and I find myself having less capacity now. Just say it's like a newer friend or something like that. I see that quote unquote fatal flaw, and I'm thinking, I don't want to deal with this close in my life.
For sure.
Periphery.
For sure. And yeah, that like, it's also, what do you value the most? If you don't even know your value, you don't know that fatal flaw is.
Yes.
It's not ick, because everybody's got some icks. If that's your red flag, then good luck. You're going to be alone for the rest of your life, and be okay with that. Fatal flaw is like character's flaw. For us, I
Yes.
think we
Yeah,
align.
yeah.
Integrity is important. Even though, I mean, I'm morally flexible. I got price. I'm willing to do things. But their bottom line of, obviously, like not breaking the law, hurt people.
Yeah.
And other like stuff, like individually, like whatever your fatal flaw is. But there's a difference between that versus just anxiety driven, like always focusing on the negative side of it. Then that can be, that can hurt you back. Yeah, if all you focusing on is the negatives, then it's all gonna come back to you, and then you're gonna feel like your type of everything about you is wrong too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's true that your true friends are useless?
Oh yeah,
I agree.
useless.
Yes. It's not transactional. It's not. You're right. They're useless.
For me, I respect anyone who's not like cutthroat, but like goal oriented, and they'll do whatever it takes to get to their goal. But I can't do that, and I can't do transactional relationships. It grosses me. I need to respect you, to work with you closely, and that takes like a basic human characters. You need to be able to take accountability, be able to take constructive criticism, and not get crazy and throw a tantrum like a little bitch. That's just basic. And yeah. What about you?
Useless?
No, yeah. What about like your close circle of friends?
Yeah. Integrity, they value growth, self-awareness, accountability is very important to me. And I think a sense of curiosity or wanting to learn is very important to me. I'm sure there's some other one, but that's the core. And I'm thinking of everyone in my life, and my husband as well. It's funny how what an impact he's had on my life and how much I've changed since being with him. His friend circle, every single person I've met that he's friends with is a solid human being. Good guy, kind. And that's just a reflection of him, right? And so when I saw that when I first met him, I'm like, that this is a really good sign
Oh,
that he
yeah,
has that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and he's very I'll ask him sometimes. I like to think that I'm actually really good with people and like reading things, but sometimes I've been wrong a handful of times. And sometimes if I'm unsure, I'll ask him, I'm like, what do you think of this person? Because his gauge is so fucking good. She's like, oh yeah, she's got some loose screws. And then sometimes I'm like, why did you say that from the beginning? You know, where I'll give people more of a chance, and he, or see the positive side of it, and he was like, oh yeah, she's got loose screws.
Not up there.
Yeah, he's just not no bullshit. And I've asked him too. I'm like, have you ever had a falling out with guy friends, or because he has the soccer groups and stuff, and they play pickup. I'm like, has there ever been someone in the group where you guys just aren't gelling? He's like, it hasn't happened often, at least like 1 or 2 times. And yeah, they're not in the group anymore.
I wonder if it impacts guys the same way when they had to make a decision to cut off some friendships. Like the sadness. I'm sure
I think so.
Yeah.
It has to.
It has to.
Everyone
We're all
needs
human.
community, right? Friendships and community is really important. I'm still building new community just because I'm shifting some things with my work. And this last year and a half, I've worked on networking more in the Asian entertainment community. And it's going really well because it takes time to build these relationships, right? And it's gotten to the point where I'm starting to see the same people over and over again at events, and we recognize each other. And that feels really good because when I stepped away from wedding photography, I'm leaving one community where I'm known and I'm comfortable, and hopping into one where no one knows you, you're a newbie. And so intellectually I knew it'd take time, but the feeling can feel very lonely and just like, where do I fit in here? Like, you're going to a new school. Where are my people? And in the industry, you'll, like with any group, right? There's people who are great and there's people who are maybe not so great or scummy or that you don't want to hang around. So it takes a while to find your people, and I'm starting to get my regulars that I talk to, which I really like. It feels really good. And I think that's a big part of feeling, I think, connected. People want to feel connected. And for me, if I don't feel connected, I feel completely lost.
Yeah, so for people that are younger, like you said, like if you married young, and just know there's like a high chance your bridesmaids or friends that you have currently are not going to be your friends, and which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that just happens.
That things can change.
Yeah.